And welcome back. Dan Atkisson, farmer from Rooks County, is joining us. He is the president of the National Sorghum Producers. In fact, we're on his farm here at the Rooks Graham County line. And Dan, Congress is on their August break, but we understand the work is continuing. You may be getting closer to USMCA vote by the time they come back this fall.
Yeah, that's the sounds of things that House Ag Committee and the Democrats will be working on some USMCA details throughout the August recess. So hopefully by the time September rolls around, maybe we've got a little bit more action can be taken at that point.
China, Japan, the EU, the UK, boy, we could do all kinds of initials. There's a lot of things left to be done for trade. Do you think any of them will get accomplished before, I guess, the silly season of elections starting next year?
Yeah, I think that was pretty accurate that we really need to make a push to get some of these trade issues resolved before we get into an election cycle. I still remain hopeful that we can get something done with China. We can get something done with Japan. Of course, the Japanese market doesn't affect sorghum a lot, but obviously the Chinese market is a big deal for us as well. But wheat, beef, we raise both of those here as well. So definitely Mexico, with USMCA, Mexico imports a lot of our wheat from here in Kansas. That would be important. Beef going into Japan is going to be another big thing that would impact this farm.
Well, and the bottom line is a lot of those are also, many of them are feeding more sorghum as well and growing those animal protein.
Yeah, absolutely. So a rising tide raises all ships. So, any export we can get, even though the wheat that's raised on this farm might not go to Japan, there's a lot of wheat in the Pacific Northwest that goes over that direction. So, that would help out our wheat market here as well.
Now, one thing we haven't talked about with you for a while is ethanol, and we see where we are with corn prices. There's maybe a little trepidation there. Some other plants are looking at continuing to use sorghum. We know sorghum acres are down as well, but it looks like you're pretty optimistic that we'll make sure that we use all the sorghum either for ethanol or feed.
Yeah, and that's something that Team Sorghum as a whole, but mainly the Checkoff program has really been working on to work with ethanol plants throughout the Midwest who traditionally don't use sorghum to get them to put out a sorghum bid. When we had some prevented plant acres where corn or soybeans didn't get planted through the I states, we had a lot of interest in growing sorghum in those areas. If you have sorghum in that area, you got to find a way to find an end user for it. So there was a lot of education and outreach that went on through the Checkoff side of things to help those producers out.
All right, Dan, we appreciate it. We know you got lots more work to do, so if we don't hurry up, you're going to put me to work. So thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me, Ken.
Dan Atkisson, farmer from Rooks County, president of the National Sorghum Producers, joining us here this morning. Stay with us. More coming up.